let's check in with what's going on online. Christian Oxner, Louis, appreciated the shout out. He says, my guy LBG. So brownie points with your teammates. And here's a question. This is from Igloo Coder. And he wants to know, how much analytics do you guys use pre and post game as part of your debriefs and post game briefings?
I think Oliver more than me. I think that's more in an area he likes to focus on. Oftentimes, Oliver Platt and I get into arguments over what stats are relevant. And I think even an analytics guru like Oliver Platt would say a lot of the stuff that's out there is kind of useless in terms of the conversation. We can talk about expected goal stats and key passes and how relevant those actually are to looking at a player and what he brings every game, right? So the answer for me is Oliver Platt uses them a lot more than me, because I'm always trying to weed out the ones that don't matter at all. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I do look at them, and we have, luckily the CPL has pretty good stats available, so that's been helpful this year. I don't disagree with Kurt, though. I think I'm probably closer to him than he thinks, in that I think they really do need context, and I think sometimes the use of them that you see on social media when you see people posting charts and stuff.
If I see one more person tell me Amir Didic outperformed Dominic Zator last year, I'm going to lose my mind. And then they bring up all these header clearances and stuff, and it's getting out of control. So.
Yeah, I think things like pass accuracy get used too much without really understanding the role of the player in the team, right? Like a player who's asked to play more difficult passes is going to have a lower pass accuracy, and that doesn't mean he's not doing his job. A centre-back who just passes square every time is going to, complete 95%, and that's not really that challenging. So
that was me in college.
There's a little bit of context there that I think is lacking sometimes, but there's a lot of value in them as well, and they're used, in my opinion, in the right way.
Yeah.
I think the question was actually posed for LBG specifically about how they use him as a player. But,
we just took it.
They all got good points, though. They all got good points. But I think, for us, we use it too. And I think it's very important with these things to understand the type of player that you're looking into the stats. Some stats for certain players, it has no... There's no point in looking, into certain stats. But if I look at, midfielders, and I look often at forward passes, because often you see midfielders that they're in the 90%, passing accuracy, but you see it's sideways passes or backward passes, as like I was saying with Halifax this year, we're trying to play offensive, we're trying to score, a lot of goals. We won't be able to do that, if we keep going backwards. So for me, it's little things like that, and recuperations and ball winnings and all that, as a midfielder, that's stuff I look at. But sometimes, like I said, accuracy is not, you need to look at, is the guy playing forward.
Yeah. So. I think those are all really good points. And just for the sake of rounding out, going around the horn, as a play-by-play announcer, I use them quite a bit because they're easier to digest and get a snapshot of the teams. If I'm calling a game on Friday between Halifax and Forge, and then I got a game the next afternoon, Pacific and Valor, it's a lot easier for me to go through leaderboards and basic stats when I'm doing my prep than it is to watch both teams' last full games. So we can use them a lot that way, especially during broadcasts. I'm sure Wheels would have his own take on how much he uses it, Nigel as well. But I know that, one, it's good just to pepper in throughout the broadcast. It gives you more things to talk about, more stories. In particular, when things might seem a little strange, sort of once the season's comfortably in its use, if someone's all of a sudden spiked up, or if someone we may not talk about a lot is leading the league or near the top of the league in an important category, that's when we as play-by-play announcers really use those stats.